Welcome back, Read My Mind Radio family, as we move forward with our Art of Adjustment season. As mentioned, I'm doing something a little different with this series of 8 episodes. Each episode featuring the conversation with my guests will be followed by a separate episode, more personal to me, based on some aspect of our conversation that resonates with my personal experience of adjusting to becoming blind. The purpose? A challenge to myself and us all to really find the ways we relate to others. I think it could prove to be encouraging. You know, my guest actually breaks it down.
In order for you to move forward, you have to find it within yourself to accept that maybe this is how I'm going to continue on with life, being visually impaired. That doesn't mean that I can't have joy. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to live a full life. There's going to be some challenges, of course, but it doesn't mean that there is no life after it.
That's Crystal Allen from Newark, New Jersey. Stand up, Jersey. The co-founder of Eyes Like Mine Incorporated.
I am a short 5'1.5" Afro-Latina female. I have curly wavy hair in the middle of my back, nice round face, a rich chocolate brown complexion, a nice smile, dark brown eyes. I am legally blind.
In addition to all of that, Crystal is the eldest of 7 siblings and a proud auntie. We'll get into our conversation, but y'all know I need my intro music. Read my mind. Read my mind. So I want to first talk a little bit about adjustment in general. I tell you that's a big part of what this season is all about. So can you talk a little bit about the early days of your adjustment?
My adjustment to vision loss, it took a while to pack its punch at me, I guess. Before losing my eyesight, I had never met anyone who was visually impaired or anywhere along the spectrum of vision loss. Once that was kind of like given to me in different settings, a medical perspective to just people I know who had the lived experience, I began the process of acceptance.
I'm a firm believer in the power of people in our adjustment process. While many different people play a role, there's just something special about lived experiences.
I think my family was going through it a little more than I was at first because I spent a lot of time with treatment for a year with my eye condition, in and out of different facilities. I was very, very quiet at first. My family was very concerned about me being so quiet. They didn't know what I was thinking or how I was feeling about my new lifestyle now.
Still unsure of what it meant to be legally blind, Crystal, like so many of us experiencing blindness, focused on how that would limit the things she'd be able to do.
Little by little, I just kind of tested myself just because I wanted to try to begin being curious enough. I wanted to just be the big sister and do the things that older siblings do for the younger siblings. And then I was also being a little selfish. So my little brother, because he was turning 6, learning his colors, I asked him, "Do you know red, yellow, and green?" And he said, "Yes." So when the light turns green, that means we can walk. And when it's yellow, we might have to speed up or slow down or just stop. And when it's red, we just gonna stop. And he's like, okay. I was like, "But you have to hold my hand." He's like, "All right." So I wasn't using a cane at the time.
Not unless her little brother's name is Kane. But she was a teenager. What do you expect?
And at that time, I was like the in-house babysitter even more because my siblings were younger. My mother had to work. My grandmother was working. Everybody was out living their life. When they needed a babysitter, it was me. So when me and Nick were alone, we would sneak out the house and go to the bodega and get us candy and junk and all the stuff we like. Because one thing my family liked to do is give me little change. And it turned into catching a bus downtown and going into stores to shop for clothes. And I would always make sure he had his McDonald's. And then one day, my mother found out me and Nick was out.
Oh, you're in trouble now.
That turned into one day my mom really, really needed someone to pick up my other siblings from school. And since she realized that I got back home safe, she was like, Crystal, can you go pick up the kids from school? And I was like, oh, now I can go pick them up. Huh? Being the oldest, I had to do a lot. I learned how to cook at 9 years old. My mother tricked me. She was like, oh, you like scrambled eggs, right? You want to try to make some scrambled eggs? So she's showing me how to do it because I do need to know how to do it to make it. And then all it took was that one time. All right, Crystal, come make the breakfast for the kids. And then scrambled eggs turned into baked chicken. But my mom was giving me good tools to set me up for being just independent without having any vision loss. That kind of was like me stepping into different stages of my independence again, because I was getting my role back as the big sister. And I was also learning me, and my family was learning me as a person who's legally blind. And more things started happening with my adjustment.
Eventually losing even more of her sight, Crystal learned to use the white cane. She used thick markers to start expressing herself in poetry. She began meeting others who shared tips for adapting. She was on her way to figuring it out.
I wasn't sure of my vision limitations. It just took me so much longer to do things, but I realized that once I did try to see if I could still do what I would do regularly, it was still achievable. I just had to either use a tool or figure out a different technique.
One of the things she figured out, Eyes Like Mine.
I worked in the field of different nonprofits, non-related to blindness, in the support capacity. I have always been a part of community development. My dad's side of the family, they're very involved in community building in Newark, where I live. My dad used to pick me up and spend time with me. He would always take me to meetings. And then when I was at the meetings, I began volunteering. From stuffing envelopes to doing telephone banking to canvassing around communities.
This exposed her to not only an understanding of activism and leadership, but also influential people in the community.
Our current senator, Cory Booker, he was at my 21st birthday party, and he was very instrumental in me getting connected with the New Jersey Commission for the Blind to receive some of my blindness services. And I used to go to his meetings volunteering and canvassing and being a part of PSAs as a teenager, before my vision loss and after my vision loss. So it was kind of like embedded in me.
Serving the community, that is. Maybe it's from observing other family members or being the oldest of 7. Either way, Crystal's a natural leader and problem solver. While going through a breakup, she came to a realization.
He ain't even thinking about me right now. I called my friend, who we both share the same condition that led to our vision loss. And I just asked her, hey, you want to start a nonprofit organization? And she was like, yeah, I'm with it. Neither one of us knew what was really going to happen. We didn't have like a blueprint at first. We were just thinking like, we're young, we're women of color, we're visually impaired. Well, it wasn't a lot of young people that we knew of at that time in New Jersey that were doing things to bring awareness to vision loss. In 2014, we were able to draft our bylaws and our articles of incorporation. And in 2015, we received our 501c3 tax-exempt status.
They began with events, like a fashion show where they teamed up with an eyewear company and modeled cool-looking shades.
We wanted to kind of like debunk the stigma of those Ray Charles glasses. We wanted to be in style, but we also wanted to bring awareness to people about the importance of protecting their vision and encourage blind people to feel good about fashion. We didn't want to remain so event orientated because we really wanted to get to the nitty gritty of things where we can find ourselves connecting with other people's stories in the blindness community to share their stories and our stories with our community near and far.
That led to other programming, including support groups, partnerships with the Lions Club, the Miss Blind Diva Empowerment Pageant, and Dancing with the Blind.
Some of these titles and names of our programs might sound a little, I guess, funky to some people, but they are heart-filling programs and projects. There were people who doubted us, people who said we should give our idea to other nonprofits.
Really?
Yeah. If we would have listened to that, we wouldn't be making it this year to our 10th anniversary.
Wow. Well, congratulations on reaching your 10 years. What was that about, folks telling you to give your ideas to other people?
It could have been many different reasons. Sometimes just the lack of understanding where we were going, what our vision was. Everything is not for everyone. I understand that in the field of community development and nonprofit, you'll meet all types of people with different roles and agendas. And I have learned that you'll meet the taters, the spectators, the haters, the speculators, the commentators, all of those haters.
The tater tots.
I just know that we have been very blessed. I'm so very grateful because I've learned so much. I have made mistakes within my nonprofit, but with those mistakes, I've learned from them, and it's given me opportunities to really grow as an individual and grow as a leader. Every leader doesn't know everything, and it's the reason why we need communities to support us so that we can elevate and we can continue to enhance our impact. Leaders need people not just to serve, but to guide them too.
This is about empowerment, right? And so I wrote this song to explain my journey with my blindness and where I am now. No more with the hiding, no more with the jokes. I'm going to face everything I don't know. It's time for me to live my life. And I can't believe I found what I wasn't looking for.
The Eyes Like Mine Miss Blind Diva Empowerment Pageant began first with an open call for nominations of a blind woman who's a pillar in their community. Someone who stands out.
In a way that made you want to connect with more women who were visually impaired and blind. We announced her during our first year anniversary at a restaurant called Diamonds in the Rough. Jay-Z's mom, Gloria Carter, actually was one of the owners. We were able to welcome Patricia Ebel as our very, very first Miss Blind Diva. We crowned her and she gave a speech. We decided, let's try and do a full pageant. We knew that it would be the only one for blind women in New Jersey. We just wanted to bring more attention to more dynamic women in the blindness community. A pageant coach, we had a host, we had a DJ who was blind, Mary Kay, makeovers for our ladies. Since 2017, we have had a pageant every year, even during the pandemic, where we had 2 virtual pageants in 2020 and 2021.
From its origin, Miss Blind Diva was never your typical beauty pageant.
We do emphasize the word empowerment. The name came from a nickname I gave myself when I first began college, which was Blind Diva.
It's actually sort of 2 pageants in one. Miss Blind Diva Empowerment and the Miss Independent YouTube Challenge. For the latter, contestants submit a video on YouTube that displays their independence. That can mean so many things for each person. The winners are determined based on the number of likes.
And then that evolved into getting a crown and sash, a fan page, some small cash, and other different things like photo shoots, interviews, being a part of the public service announcement with a local cable channel, to even attending the Ultimate Women's Expo and meeting Fantasia and Abby from Dance Moms. It's really been growing and growing and growing. Now she receives $1,000 each year, the title, the crown, different appearances that the organization is at. We have Miss Blind Diva Mondays now at 7 p.m. where you can connect with our title holders on their fan pages at 7 p.m. and they'll speak about things of interest, things related to blindness, things related to them being the title holder. We've had women participate as close as New Jersey, Texas, California, Maryland, Florida, Pennsylvania, and as far as Kenya, Russia, and Jamaica.
Is the next Miss Blind Diva part of the Read My Mind radio family?
And we just hope that this year will bring another great experience. It will be the 8th annual Miss Blind Diva Empowerment Pageant, which we will hold on October 4th and 5th in 2024.
Are there pageants like that type of pageant in other states that you know of?
I am not sure. I don't like to spill out inaccurate information. I do know that they have Miss Wheelchair New Jersey and Miss Wheelchair America. There's one called Miss Amazing for another disability community that I'm not really familiar with. There's all kinds of pageants, but I haven't heard of another one that is for blind and visually impaired women. But I know that we were the first in New Jersey.
Well, I'm going to say y'all the first in the States, period. That's what I'm going to say. Anybody want to correct me, bring your receipts. Let's go.
Oh, my goodness.
I respect the commitment to accurate information, even when marketing. No need to lie or stretch the truth when you have catchy phrases like, the first one that I noticed was the going, growing, and glowing. Is that right?
Yes. So it just happened that during one of our women's support groups, I was just kind of sharing a message with the attendees. And I just said, we are looking forward to our 10th year anniversary and we're counting down, evolving and expanding and going, growing, and glowing.
Her friend and co-founder, Niquella Wright Prevost, thought that could be a good slogan.
It represents where we are going, how we are growing, and how we show up shining around the world. Going, growing, and glowing. It just represents a lot of empowerment, not just in women, but in the blindness community. We are really giving that energy to everyone who will receive us.
Okay, that's a whole nother G status. I like it. Then there's Eyes Like Mine, where vision loss doesn't break us, it builds us.
There is life after blindness. It's an opportunity for us to just connect with the life that we can still assume, the acceptance of our lifestyle, and the culture of blindness. In order for you to move forward, you have to find it within yourself to accept that maybe this is how I'm going to continue on with life, being visually impaired. That doesn't mean that I can't have joy. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to live a full life. It's going to be some challenges, of course, but it doesn't mean that there is no life after it.
That's a perfect way for you to tell me a little bit more about the support groups that you offer at Eyes Like Mine.
Usually the structure of our support groups are that we have featured speakers, we may play some virtual games, but we also make sure that everyone who's attending can exercise their voice. We want to make sure that it's a talk with you experience and not a talk at you. The support groups right now are all virtual. Every first Thursday of the month at 7 p.m. on Zoom, we will have our Women of Power support group.
In addition to the women's group, there's a men's group, and periodically they come together. I had the honor of being a speaker during one of these joint sessions. I gotta be honest, y'all. I think I lost the fellas that day. I joked about how their name was something like Gentlemen of Leisure, while the women were Women of Empowerment. I suggested they step up their game. It was a joke. They didn't like it. All right, in hindsight, perhaps it wasn't a good introduction. I still think it was funny, though.
I'm listening to you fellas. I really, really am. I'm trying to do more things that represent the men. And I need men to guide me because I don't know what y'all like. And my voice is so light. I'm like, are they going to even listen to me? I have some men coming at me like, oh, why isn't there a pageant for the blind men? I'm like, you really want to do a pageant?
That's the case, organizer. See how many people you're going to get, but I don't know. I'm saying, fellas, I don't know what that would look like, but go ahead and put it together. As with the other programming from Eyes Like Mine, Crystal recognizes the importance of understanding that our conversations and interests go beyond blindness.
We have our leisure moments within the support group. It's important that we kind of have the diversity in conversation. So that's why we don't just speak about blindness. And sometimes there are people who are new to the visually impaired community and some who might be a little more seasoned. So it's a mixture of all kinds of people. It's all adults. Our support groups are under a network through the New Jersey Commission for the Blind and Visually Impaired, Aspire Peer Support Network, where there's over 60 plus peer-led support groups across the state of New Jersey, virtually and in person. And Eyes Like Mine organizes the support groups under this network so that more people can connect with information, resources, and just the overall socialization.
For those who may not be the type to want to have in-person conversations, whether virtual or not, Eyes Like Mine has you covered.
We have a group on Facebook called the Peer Support Hub, a division of Eyes Like Mine, Inc. Anyone can join it. It's a private group, so you can request access. There's a little over 300 members in it, and it's a space where you can share your thoughts, your images, your videos, if you have events or programs. Like you have your Showtime is, we want you in there posting about your interviews and who you got coming next. Tonight, I'm going to do my first live cooking show. It's called Crushing It in the Kitchen. And I'm going to be showing my viewers how I use my independent skills to cook in my kitchen. And it's also a way for me to be encouraged to cook because I'm living a single life and Uber Eats, it's expensive. I can cook. I just hate the process of it. I just wish that the meal would appear and then the dishes would disappear.
You got to work on that one. Let me know when you get that. Yeah. What's on the menu? What you cooking? Not those same scrambled eggs, right?
You know what? No.
Okay, y'all. Apparently I have to work on my humor. It was a joke. But what's no joke is Crystal doing her thing.
I'm going to try to make it as regular as I can. It's a personal thing, but it's also in conjunction with my organization because there are a lot of blind people who are afraid to cook. There's a lot of blind people who might just make easy things. Why shouldn't we kind of expand our idea on being comfortable in the kitchen? I'm going to try to do a step-by-step with all of my process. And I'm going to make mistakes because this is live. It's not scripted and it won't be edited. To those who are visually impaired or blind, it will open up their minds to their possibilities that if they don't feel comfortable cooking right now, there is still hope that they can become comfortable and it's okay to make mistakes. When I do make my mistakes, they'll know that, okay, it's all right to make a mistake. You can still finish cooking your meal.
That's a great metaphor for adjusting, period. Adjustment doesn't have to be painful. Support also looks like Dancing with the Blind. Open to all age groups, it's the Eyes Like Mine version of Dancing with the Stars.
But in this instance, our celebrity is the blind, or the visually impaired, or the deafblind, and their partner will be someone who's sighted. Dancing with the Blind can be coupled in a group of 2 people or more. Once you find your person, or if you need us to find a partner for you, we can do that as well. You can select whatever genre of dance and music that you want to prepare for. They have to pick a team name, have a particular kind of costume, whatever represents their style of dance. It's judged. We have vendors who have resources, products, and services. We have hosts, our DJ pumping it up. At the recital competition, whoever wins at the end will go home with $500.
Even Newark's mayor, Ras Baraka, son of the writer, poet, and activist Amiri Baraka, participated. The event, which sounds amazing, concludes with a group choreographed dance.
Our champions from 2023 Their team name was called Hot Muffins. And it was a couple of people. One was newly visually impaired. They did a Latin fusion dance to Taki Taki, the song that features Cardi B. It was really fly how they did their dance. Muffin is very new to the visually impaired community, so it was just such a emotional victory for her when she won. So we're looking forward to bringing it back. This is also going to be with the support of the Newark Arts Council, who selected Dancing with the Blind in their Art Start Mini Grant application. This is our first time bringing it back to Newark since the pandemic.
I love that. That is really cool. I don't know if I want to take that money, but I'm going to have to think about it.
Yes, come on, Thomas.
So it has to be two people. I can't just come in by myself and just do the WAP. I can't
What?
I can't just WAP it out.
No, not at all.
Y'all are lucky. I don't play when it comes to the WAP. Crystal, along with her dance partner, Tony, who's also blind, teamed up for some salsa dancing. Whereby Eyes Like Mine, Miss Blind Diva Empowerment, Miss Independent, Support Group. All of these programs focus on providing for others.
This May, I will be entering a milestone birthday year. I will be 40. I realize that I do a lot for other people, and it's very rewarding to me because that's just in my spirit. But I need to start doing more things for myself personally. So one of those things is just challenging myself to have different experiences. I was born and raised in Newark, New Jersey, and this is where my organization was founded. So I just wanted to do something that represented my city, that kind of had a correlation to some of my interests, which is fashion and connecting with people. So I entered the Miss Newark USA pageant.
The goal of Miss Newark USA, created in 2018, is to spread awareness of pageantry with workshops, etiquette classes, modeling classes, and amazing experiences to enhance careers.
Directed and organized by Alicia Marie Blanks and her mother, Miss Candy. It's a mother and daughter duo, women of color. So that was even more empowering for me to participate in it.
Like other pageants, Miss Newark USA consists of different competitions, including congeniality, fashion, and talent.
I sang the song Vivir Mi Vida by Mark Anthony, which means living my life. I thought it was a very great song to represent who I am, because I am just doing that, living my life and just being curious enough about what goes on in life to attach myself to different things. And then when it was time to announce who would be crowned Miss Newark USA 2023, they announced my name, and I was so excited. I'll say I've had other wins in life, but I never won any other competition outside of a spelling bee in third grade.
Especially for people adjusting to disability, whatever that is, I think wins are really important. Tell me about some of the wins that you had throughout your life.
My dad was diagnosed with leukemia in February of 2021. And then my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer in March of 2021. And by November of 2021, they both were declared a clean bill of health. So that was a big win for me because I still have them. It has transformed me in a way where I'm trying to really appreciate life for what it is. I can wake up every day and I can get to talk to my parents, laugh with them, get annoyed with them, learn from them. Getting to see my organization reach 10 years. I'm a woman of color with her own nonprofit for representing blindness. I had people doubt my leadership, and people doubt my leadership to this day, which is fine. I'm glad that I don't get easily discouraged. It was a big support network that I had with volunteers, family, friends of friends, people who are just getting to know me, just getting to know the organization, and just having the chance to have someone believe in you. That's a win.
Now, I can't top that, but I think there's one more win. Miss Newark, the original Miss Blind Diva, you, Miss Crystal Allen, are an official member of the Read My Mind radio family.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to share my message on your platform. I really appreciate you. It's great to see blind black men doing their thing too.
There it is. And winning dance competitions too.
Ooh, you spoke it.
I get busy. For the record, I can do more than the WAP. I can do the Smurf, I can do the baseball, the Running Man, the Caveman, the Pee Wee Herman, Electric Boogie. I'm not allowed to breakdance anymore though.
God, if you listen, help!
Dancing is one thing, but Crystal, Eyes Like Mine, are truly doing their thing for the community.
We are in partnership with the Source of Knowledge bookstore, which is the oldest African-American bookstore in New Jersey, Vistas Education, and the United Way of Greater Newark. We have done about 80 installments of Braille overlaying African-American children books like Chocolate Me by Taye Diggs, If Kids Run the World, The 1619 Project, and a host of other books in our library to encourage access to Braille literacy and just overall literacy for children to build their vocabulary and their knowledge.
Recruitment for the 2024 Miss Blind Diva Empowerment Pageant begins on March 1st. The application is available now on their website,
EyesLikeMine.org.
That's where you can learn more about Dancing with the Blind and all of the activities and events from Eyes Like Mine.
The Peer Support Hub, a division of Eyes Like Mine, Inc. on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, well, now X, and YouTube. Our handle is at Eyes Like Mine, Inc. Our general email address is events@eyeslikeMine.org.
Read My Mind radio family. Let's send Crystal and the whole Eyes Like Mine crew some love. Welcome her to the family. Let her know you support what she's doing and just send her some energy to continue to be determined and not get dissuaded by those haters. Next up, according to the plan for this season, I'm continuing my self-portrait. In the next episode, we'll hear more from Crystal, but I'll show you how it relates to my own experience. For example, is there anything that you would want to tell a young Crystal now, if you could go back when you first got diagnosed?
I would say to myself that it's okay. It's going to be okay. It's okay to feel what I'm feeling.
This struck me. It made me think of something specific from my early days of blindness. I'll talk about it during the self-portrait. I'm waiting for my interviewee to arrive. We had a 3:30 appointment.
3:35 p.m.
Along with a very special guest. But until then, please continue to help us get the word out about all of the incredible people featured here on the podcast. Tell someone you know who can benefit and enjoy what we're serving up, that they can find it themselves wherever they get podcasts. Explain that we have transcripts and more at readmymind.com. Go ahead and tell them. That's R to the E. I.
D, and that's me in a place to be.
Like my last name.